Hey guys, welcome back to Prime Collectibles. I am Jason, and this is the second part of my home tour. If you missed the first part, make sure to check it out on Prime Collectibles on YouTube. And if you're enjoying the content, be sure to like and subscribe. Thanks. Moving along to this area here. This is sort of a collection of a number of different things. We've got the Hades Studio Bone Demon here, which is a beautiful piece that I just recently reviewed. Love that. And this I guess we'll call this the Badass Girls display. Kind of a fantasy women. This is another one of my favorite female portraits. Aspen. Really, really beautiful. I think that she's gorgeous. Very nice statue. Really sexy. She's pulling the water up from the ground, or from the ocean or whatever it is. And then in a similar type of movement, that's why I put Witchblade beside her, because they both have these sort of like this movement of their bases pulling up around them. Again, this is Witchblade. Both beautiful, beautiful female statues. And then we've got Red Sonja down here. There have been a number of Red Sonja statues that have been released. And some really impressive ones that I've seen lately, but I still prefer this Sideshow version of her. I just love it. I love the portrait. I think she's beautiful. I love her sort of, cocky pose with the sword through the head of a whatever it is. I don't know, some sort of a zombie or something. I like the way they sculpted her body. I love everything about this Red Sonja, and she's not going anywhere. Space here for another girl to fit in this collection. I'm not sure what's going to go there yet, but at least I got a bit of space. Okay, and to keep that sort of fantasy woman vibe moving over to here, we've got Deja Thoris. And she is a stunning piece. On Rad Titan, they just recently asked or they put out a survey to the mods asking a number of different things for the year-end what's it called, awards show, I guess. And I rated this as my #1 female statue for 2021, and I don't think that it's even close. When Sideshow does something well, they really nail it, and this is a perfect example of that. The production piece really came out very similar to the prototype, which is not that common. And I think that they really nailed that piece. Oh, just to mention it, she's XM Studios. This is Sideshow as well, and this was also Sideshow. Okay, so now did a review of her recently, not a new statue, but I do think that she is a highly underrated piece. This is the Magdalena. This is also by XM Studios. And I love this piece. What I tried to do here, I don't know if it's obvious, but I tried to sort of transition from the fantasy women here into more fantasy women, but she is starting to look a little bit kind of like medieval style, with her Knight Templar outfit. And I feel like that kind of moves nicely into the Batman Shogun, which is, feudal Japan-ish. I don't know, maybe that's a stretch, but I thought that these all kind of went nicely together. So we'll look at Batman Shogun, and then I'll quickly mention the Vampirella art print. So I've done a review on him. Nothing more to say that hasn't already been said. simply stunning piece, centerpiece of any collection. Definitely one of my favorite statues in my collection. Just the detail in every piece of him is stunning. Still don't love the base, but no one's looking at the base when they see this. They're just looking at him. Wow. Lots of swap outs for this guy. If you want to see more in-depth review, just check it out. It's on my channel, Prime Collectibles on YouTube. And then this absolutely stunning art print of Vampirella. I really went all out when I framed this. It was not cheap, but I think that this art print warrants it because it's just an absolutely gorgeous piece. So there we go. I should mention that eventually I'll put the 1/3 scale PCS Vampirella that I pre-ordered probably there, and either they'll move around or I'll probably find another place for them. But anyways, so now let's move to my Final Fantasy display. This is going to continue to grow, so I might have to find a new place for these guys, but for now they all fit in here. Please stay open. So let's start with Cloud on bike on his Hardy Daytona. I am ashamed to say I don't remember what studio made this, but I think it's really nice. The lighting, the uplighting on a lot of the statues works. On Cloud, it makes his face look funny. He looks like he's got kind of weird coloration around his eyes, but with proper lighting, he doesn't look like that. This is, I might, you know, when I find a better display for these guys, I think that I'll need to top light him. It'll look a lot better. Cute little chocobo that comes as an add-on to this piece. Really nice piece in person. Nice to have a 1/4 scale Cloud on bike. I think that's a really good representation of him with his Buster sword. Okay, so now let's move down. Now I've got a couple pieces by Solar Studio, which is a kind of a third-party unlicensed studio that are making some really great stuff. I did a review on Squall here, so nothing really more to say other than I just really love the statue. Sorry for any of you guys that missed out. I know a lot of you saw my review and were asking if you could get this. Unfortunately, you can't. He is sold out and there wasn't many of them made. But these guys are making other ones. Not other Squalls, but other Final Fantasy 8 characters and 9. So keep a look out for them. Now here we have Vivi. I haven't released the review of this guy yet, and I don't know why I haven't yet. I guess I just haven't really got around to it, but this is Solar Studio's second outing, and holy crap is this good. You know, this is good, really good. Part of it was just I was so impressed that this was their first release, and also I love Squall. But this is like a really high quality statue. I mark my words, guys, I will not be surprised if this studio starts making licensed stuff soon. When some of these companies and IPs, when they see the quality that this group is making, or the quality statues that they're producing, I think that they are going to open up to get to allowing them to use their licenses. Because look at the detail. And I don't have him plugged in, but his eyes light up and the flame also lights up. That is a really nice statue. Absolutely stunning. I'm really looking forward to seeing what else these guys release. So then now I've got the pink Tifa. I've got a video up about her. A lot of controversy with this one. I did get her clothes kind of hooked up in a way using some techniques that some people told me. You know, using hot water and a blow dryer and stuff. So thank you guys for telling me the techniques on how to sort of manipulate these cast-off pieces. But now that it's all put together, I do like her. I think she's cute. I think she's got a nice portrait. The problem with the eye is not noticeable in this lighting, so I never ended up sending it back. But honestly, like cute little cactuar in the back. I think that she looks good in the collection. I think that she's the nicest looking of the resin Tifas, in my opinion. And now that, and like I said, I mean, the cast off thing I think is stupid. I think that if you want a nude version of Tifa, then just, okay, no worries, get a nude version of Tifa. But don't make it, for a statue that is painted, cast off is a bad idea, because these pieces that you take off ruin the actual statue itself. And that's really my problem. Some people were like, oh, you're being a prude, you have a problem with nude statues. I don't. And I'm sorry if my review made it sound that way. I don't care. I have some lewd statues as well. I like that shit. It's just, I don't like that stupid cast off thing. If you want a new Tifa, okay, get a new Tifa. If you want a Tifa with clothing, you don't want to ruin it by having to put on clothes on it. Anyways, that's my rant. I've already covered it in another video. If you want to see another video, take a look. So now I've got, these are old. These are very old statues. These are, I think they're 1/6 scale. I believe they're PVC or some sort of material. They're not polystone or resin or anything like that. But these are from when Final Fantasy X actually first came out. And these were, as far as I know, the best you could get at that time. And I think they still hold up pretty well. A little bit shaky here, so I'm using one hand. Auron is still one of my favorite Final Fantasy characters. Very cool Ronin looking guy. I lost his sunglasses, but I don't think that's a bad thing. Titus. You can see by the color, or not the coloration, but you can see by the quality of the skin that he's more plasticky than he is statue, or more plasticky than he is any other material. But that's okay. Like I said, I mean, as far as I know, there's no other representations of these guys yet. I think another group have just started making quarter scale Final Fantasy X figures, so I'll need to take a look at that. I love Lulu with her big push-up boobs, but this isn't the best representation ever, but so be it. As a group, these all look really nice together. And until I get better versions, they will stand in. Selfie there. And now these are, I think these are the first two statues that I ever collected. I've been collecting other things, Transformers, whatever, for years, since I was a little kid. But I think these were the first two actual statues that I collected, like real porcelain statues or polystone or anything like that. And these are the original Kotobukiya, Cloud Strife, and Hardy Daytona. And Tifa. My main girl, Tifa. I love them both. Cloud's hair is chipped. I don't know where those pieces went, but I don't care. Maybe I'll get them fixed. Maybe I'll get that fixed one day. But I really love both of these. I remember getting them when I was younger, and my appreciation for them has not waned over time. Okay, now let's move over to this whole display here. Mostly Marvel with some other little odds and ends. So we'll start down here with my least favorite display in my entire display, which is these subpar Witcher statues by Prime 1. Now, I reviewed Yennefer and I was actually pleasantly surprised with her because Ciri was so crappy that when I looked at this, I was like, hey, this is actually much better. As time has gone on, I've grown to not appreciate this statue. There's no good lighting for her face. It just does not, she doesn't look hot. She doesn't look like the Yennefer I know from the video games. So I don't like it, straight up. The rest of the statue is not bad, but it just doesn't do it for me. I'm gonna sell this for sure. Here's Ciri. Kudos to a Sideshow. They did end up giving me a replacement portrait. I don't know if you remember, but when I originally reviewed her, her eyes were so bug-eyed. The new portrait's good. But again, she doesn't look like Ciri. Like, both of these portraits are not what I remember them looking like. I remember them both being pretty attractive women in the game, and neither of these look attractive. And so for that, excuse me. So, I don't know. to quote Dragon's Den or Shark's Tank or whatever it's called, for that reason, I am out. I'm going to sell both of these. I'm not even going to spend any more time looking at them. So now we've got Jill Valentine, or Jill Valentine? Yeah, Claire Redfield, Jill Valentine, from Resident Evil. Not bad statues. There's 2 more in this line that are coming. There is a Ada Wong and then also a Jill. I have both of them on their way, and they kind of, in the images, they look nice all together. They kind of, they pair well. So if I like all 3 of them, I'll probably get rid of this one. Although I like the portrait. It doesn't look like Jill, but it's a cute portrait anyways. This is not a bad statue, but again, it won't fit as well. She's got Louboutins on. It won't fit as well as the other 2 that match this will. So let's see how they all look. Again, I'm not in love with any of the statues in this little section here, and for such a big statue or for such a big section that is right when you come into this room, I'm gonna probably replace this or these with something else. Okay, let's get into the Marvel stuff. So here we have Punisher, Daredevil, Spidey, $20.99. I love this display here. So these 2 are Iron Studios. Got the Iron Studios Daredevil, which I did a review on already. I'll just quickly show him again. Got him propped up a little bit to make him look like he's a bit higher. Nice portrait. Got Iron Studios Punisher, which is a bit of a newer acquisition for me. I do have the Sideshow Punisher as well, and I like him. I like that Sideshow Punisher. He's a new sort of kind of a stylized version of Punisher, and there's some things I don't like as much about him, but I really did like that skull portrait that he had, where kind of the face paint, the skull face paint, but it definitely did not look as good as it did in the prototype, and it definitely doesn't go as well with the Iron Studios Daredevil that this kind of more comic book, true to the comic version of Frank Castle does. And, you know, I ended up getting this. I ordered them through somebody on eBay, and I thought I'll take a look at the 2 together and I'll see which one I like more. And it's very, very clear that when I put the 2 beside each other, this is the Punisher that I grew up with. This looks really, really nice. If you guys want a review of him, he's an older piece now, but if you do want a review of this, or if you want me to do a comparison before I sell the other one, let me know in the comments, and I'll do that. I'll do a comparison of these 2 Punishers. But that's great. And then the Prime 1 Spidey, $20.99, I still think is the best version. I know XM did one. I think this is better. I love it. Really awesome, dynamic pose. Looks like he's kind of ready for action. Cool sort of futuristic base with the steam coming up. I really like this piece. I like the detail in the outfit itself, the patterns and textures, and the variation. Love it. I love this section. Now, when you first come into the room, this is what you see. My Happy Bust, which is a really impressive piece. It just commands so much attention, this bust. When people come in this room, obviously it's the first thing you see, but everyone gravitates towards this. Busts really do have something special about them if it's a nice bust, and I think that this is something. I was originally going to sell it just because the rest of my stuff's all 1/3 when it comes to Spidey, but I think it really actually makes a nice centerpiece, so I'm going to hold on to him. And we have a Spider-Man by Todd McFarlane, sort of a book with a number of the kind of more famous comic stories in there. This is the Iron Studio Spider-Man, early earlier Iron Studios days, but I think before they were starting to really find their stride. But I still think that this pose for Spider-Man is the best in 1/4. I love it. It's dynamic. He's showing his flexibility. When I used to draw Spider-Man as a kid, this is how I would draw him, in these sort of super flexible, impossible for a human to probably get this pose or poses. The base, it is ambitious. It is cool in that, you know, you got Green Goblin's lantern, you got Doc Ock in the back there. It says Oscorp. Incorporates a bunch of the villains, but it is a piece of shit when it comes to build quality. Like, this is so flimsy, it's like plasticky, and it's broken a number of times. This, if you just even push on it, it'll fall off. Really poor build quality, but if you don't look too closely and you don't touch it, it just still is a really impressive looking piece. And then we've got one of my favorite XM Studios pieces. Again, in my opinion, a very underrated piece, Black Cat by XM. Really, well, I've said it in the review. If you want to see the full review, just have a look on my site or on my YouTube page. But it's just unique. It's very unique, and I think it's really nice. And it's a nice. It adds some nice interest to this Spider-Man section here. I do have a Spider-Gwen coming, a custom Spider-Gwen. I think I'll probably try and fit her in there as well. So now let's move down to my, oh, his hand is off. Let's try and put that back on. There we go. Okay. Now the Spidey villains area. So we've got Carnage, Sideshow Carnage. I still think this Carnage is good. I know a lot of people don't like it. The base is kind of gross. This just looks like clay. It looks kind of unfinished. But he's dynamic. I think the portrait is nice. I did pre-order the new Sideshow Carnage though. I did say Carnage before, right? Yeah. Anyways. I ordered the new Sideshow Carnage because I do think it's better, and I do like the deeper red, but I do not mind the fact that this Carnage is a little bit lighter red, because when you pair him with Spider-Man, it adds some variation. Yeah, I still think it's a good statue. Obviously, XM Venom, still sort of the gold standard for Venom pieces, I think, to a lot of people. 1/4 scale Venoms. I think this is a little bit underrated. I think it got shit on a lot, and I think it's better than people say. I think that this is not as good as people say. I still think he's really impressive, and he's got a number of different portraits and swap outs, which is cool. I like this. I like the portrait that has Eddie Brock's face coming out of it, but I left this one because it looks better when he's down low. When you're looking from up here, you can't really see Eddie Brock's face. It's kind of facing downwards. So I think this sort of more Todd McFarlane style portrait looks better, but I'm still waiting for a better Venom. This is big. He's big and beefy. You can't tell in the video, but he's a very, very big statue. But some of the musculature just to me looks a little bit weird, like that. I don't know. I think that I'm still waiting for a better Venom. I think that the new Venom that Sideshow announced, I kind of do like the look of him. I don't know how big he's actually going to be, but if he's really big and imposing, I might end up getting that. I don't like the base so much, but I like the look of, where he looks looks more. It's the Marvel vs. Capcom version of his portrait, where his jaw's jutting out well beyond his the rest of his face. I like that. I dig that. I think it's really cool. It makes him look more beast-like. So I might end up getting that Sideshow piece. I'm not sure, but we'll see. So now we've got Mysterio by XM, a really, really beautiful piece. Just as a piece of art, I think it's beautiful. Like it's just a really great pose that he's in, and then the movement of the smoke coming up around him. I think this is another really underrated piece. I think you can still buy this at like retail value and or retail cost, and I think that this should In my opinion, this should go for a lot more. Maybe it's just because the character's not as popular, but man, look at that really cool portrait where you can see the skull, just the hint of the skull faintly through the sort of like fishbowl helmet. I love this. Mysterio is not one of my favorite Spidey villains, but this statue looks so cool that I probably am not going to get rid of him anytime soon. I don't know why, but Venom just doesn't look as big in camera as he does in real life. Anyways, I'm having a hard time capturing it, but he's pretty imposing. Okay, so now I'll move to my other not so, how do I describe this? Another block or another display area that I'm not that proud of. I got rid of most of my X-Men line because I replaced them all with the Sentinel dioramas that I will show later in the video. What I kept was this. So let's start down here because I don't like this that much. That's what's kind of tucked away behind my desk. Sideshow Psylocke. This is not the Psylocke that I know and love. To be fair, that I've seen, no studio has nailed Psylocke yet, though. I don't like the new XM one at all. There's one of the portraits for Betty that actually looks pretty nice. She looks pretty, but it's like the North American, I think she was British, I can't remember now, but the North American version of her portrait. I want a Jim Lee Asian Psylocke. Is that too much to ask for? Nobody has done it or can do it. I don't know what it is, but until that happens, I'm not going to be happy, because Psylocke was my favorite female X-Man, and nobody's been able to get that Jim Lee look. I just don't get it. So until that, I'm not going to be happy, and this, I guess, will just suffice as a placeholder. We've got my Emma that I sent her portrait away for to have repainted. Again, that portrait is like light years better than what it used to be, and because of that, I'll probably always hold on to this statue. It's not the best statue, but it's sexy. It's the version of her I like, and definitely the portrait is unique and much better than it used to be. And now we've got Professor X. I did a review on him. The more I look at him, the more I just think, meh. If you have a whole X-Men lineup, then you should have this statue, because he completes it and he is sort of the leader of the X-Men, and it's a well done statue. Don't get me wrong, I just think it's boring. I don't think that anything in this case or this display cabinet really stands out as like as something being interesting enough to keep your attention. That's why I'm gonna have to do something about this. I'll probably sell him. I'll sell her definitely once I get a better version. Her I'll keep, but I need to do something else here. If you have suggestions, please let me know. So here are my 3 favorite X-Men dudes, and that's why I kept them, even though I got rid of the rest of the line. So we've got XM, Cyclops, really nice version of him. Good portrait, good pose. I do have the swap out where he's kind of shooting his beam up into the air or screaming into the air. I don't like it. I think that the body looks contorted in a weird way in that version. So I have this one here, but he looks good. Got Brown Wolvie, XM, really nice. There are some things that I'm not as much of a fan of, but overall, I think this is a beautiful piece. The base is really nice with this Japanese roofing, however you say it. Yeah, all in all, I think this is a really great Wolverine piece. I put his 2 katanas down here, and the samurai helmet down at this base. He's kind of propped up, but I put this fabric here just to mask the things that they're propped up on, just to kind of fill out the space better. And then we've got Gambit, the Sideshow Gambit, which I believe is better than the XM Gambit. Maybe not in terms of detail. I think the XM Gambit has nicer detail. XM really do well when it comes to like really getting in there and doing exquisite detail and all the little pieces of them, you know, highly textured. But just in terms of being a really dynamic pose and capturing the spirit of Gambit, I think that Sideshow did a much better job. He just looks good from every angle. So many lines of action in him. And that portrait is awesome. All right, and to end off the man cave section of this tour, we'll get to the final section, which is the smaller scaled statues who just happen to mostly be sexy girls, because I don't already have enough sexy girls in my collection. Okay, so we'll start with the PCS bathing suit Street Fighter line, and we have Chun-Li. She's probably my least favorite in this line, even though Chun-Li is definitely my favorite Street Fighter female character. Next we have Laura, which was the first in the line that I got, and I really like her. And then we get to Karen, which is the most recent one that I got, and no, not the most recent one I got, but definitely my favorite. I don't really care too much about the character in the game. I've never used her, but I just think she has a really cute portrait. Really nice. So then we'll get over here, and I got Alucard at the top. I used to have him paired with some 1/3 scale statues because I didn't know where else to put him, and he just didn't really stand out since he's 1/5. But now that I have him on his own, he commands the presence that he should. I love Alucard as a character. He's one of my favorite characters in lore. I love Castlevania. So now he kind of commands the presence he deserves up there on the top by himself. Okay, so as we move down, we've got the J. Scott Campbell collabs with Sideshow, the fairy tale fantasy statues, and they're kind of just pin-up takes on fairy tale characters, girls. I've done a review on both of these, but I just love them both. This is Alice, and then we've got Ariel, or the Little Mermaid. They really straddle that they find that fine balance between cute and sexy, which I really love. And most of these statues in this section do. They're kind of cute and sexy. So now we move down into the 1/7 scale Kotobukiya Bishojo line. And I got into these because of this horror line here. When I found out that you could get like sexy anime girl versions of classic horror icons, I was all in. I don't remember which is the first that I saw, but I am obsessed with these statues. When I get one of these in, I'm as happy as when I get in like a 1/3 scale, you know, big Prime 1 piece, or any of my other pieces for that matter, which makes me wonder why I'm spending so much on those big guys when I can get just as much enjoyment out of these. But anyways, this is Leatherface, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Got Pinhead from Hellraiser. Let's see if I can get a better shot. She's on kind of a uncollapsed puzzle box. That's fun. Got Jason, Friday the 13th. Got Freddy, Nightmare on Elm Street. Got another Leatherface. From It, we have Pennywise. That's really great looking. These all are. They're so well done, really nicely detailed. Got Ash from Evil Dead. It's a fun one too. And then we have Michael Myers from Halloween, the OG. I really love this Leatherface. I think she's really fun and cute and just gory and savage at the same time. And I really love Pinhead. There's some just really nice details in Pinhead. If you look at her high heel, it's actually like a pin going through her heel, which is super clever. And then I've got some G.I. Joe, bishojo, got Scarlet, Lady J, and Baroness. And I paired Baroness with a Ravage that I had, an extra Ravage, and I kind of made this leash contraption to make it look like he was her pet, because in the crossover comics with G.I. Joe and Transformers, she does have Ravage as a pet, so I thought that'd be fun. And then we've got more video game girls. It's all fighting game girls except for this one here, kind of the odd one out. This is Sniper Wolf from Metal Gear Solid, and she's got a cute little wolf in here. I'd love to get more video game girls, non-fighting game, but I think this is the only one that they've released so far. So I'm looking forward to more. Then I've got Sakura from Street Fighter, Cammy from Street Fighter, Christy Montero from Tekken, Jin Kazama, also Tekken, and Ibuki from Street Fighter. And then down here, there's just kind of a mishmash. There's some anime girls from animes that I have dug in the past, and then these are from Dragon's Crown. It's a role-playing game that actually Sue and I have been playing together, and it's kind of like a multiplayer role-playing game, and it's known for non-PC characters, girls with big boobs and dudes that are jacked like they've been doing way too many cycles of steroids. Anyways, so that is the end of the man cave room tour. Just do one more quick once over. Let's move into the final room, and this is my happy place. It's kind of fun because you can actually see that there's a massive window into this room, but if you turn the lights off in here, you can't see anything. But if you want to, you can kind of set it up like a museum where people can see through the windows but not actually get in, because I can lock this door. So this is my nostalgia room. I mean, everything I collected, I guess, is nostalgic, but this is very like 80s, 90s cartoons with a little bit of video games tied in as well. I love this room so much. It's just so colorful and bright and happy, and yeah, it really is my happy place. I love my man cave as well, and I love the DC lineup and all that in the lounge area, but this is what makes me happy. So let's start it off by looking here. Got some plushy Transformers, the Dinobots, that's always fun, and then we've got Ninja Turtles. So we start off with Ninja Turtles. Got the 1/4 scale NECA movie Ninja Turtles. Kind of hard to see, but let's get in a little bit closer here. Got Raph. And he should have his hat. I don't know where his hat is, but he's in his trench coat. Anyone who's seen the movie understands why he's dressed like this. Got Donnie, Mikey, and their likenesses are so much like the movie. It's really incredible. And again, these are 1/4 scale, so it's they're almost like statues. And Raph. Or sorry, Leonardo. We've got some smaller scale Toka and Razar from the Secret of the Ooze, Casey Jones, and then we've got a Foot Soldier, Shredder, and then this is from the NECA cartoon line that we're going to look at in a second. You know, this room is so there's so much I could get into here. I'm conscious of the time of this video, so I'm not going to go into it in too much detail. I'm just going to pass through everything sort of briefly. And if you guys want me to do another video going through this room in more detail, I will do that. I'll go through the G.I. Joes that I have, the He-Man, the Ninja Turtles, all that in more details. Just let me know. But for now, let's just quickly, I'll just kind of go through here. This is my movie, this is my Ninja Turtles cartoon display. And I have a lot more coming as well. A little bit more obscure characters from the cartoon. I love this Muckman with Joe Eyeball in the back. Look at this guy. NECA did some really fun stuff with these. The quality is sometimes a little bit iffy, but really nice. Again, like I said, I have a lot more of these coming. These are the Super 7 versions. They're very much more like the actual toys that came out back in the 80s. They're chunky and beefy and really are nice upgraded representations of the toys as opposed to the cartoon, which is very cool. Probably end up doing a display for these guys as well, but as you can see, there's like a new version, new portrait, and then like the actual old school toy portrait. Anyways, I'm not going to go into too much detail. Just know that I have a bunch of those that I could go through. Just let me know if you want me to. There's some boxes for the smaller movie versions of the NECA toys. I love this. Danny. Let's just pull him out. That's worth looking at. What a funny character to make a figure of. He's even got the Sid Vicious shirt. This was from a loot box or a loot crate. Okay, so now we've got the G.I. Joe classified. I have every one that's been released so far to date, including variants. That's why you see 2 of Roadblock here, and you'll see 2 of some others, because they have already released variants. I have everyone. This is the original Snake Eyes that you could just get from the Hasbro website. Again, guys, let me know if you want me to actually go through these in detail and pull them out and show them all. They're really, really cool figures. They're bigger than the original G.I. Joes and really highly articulated, as you can see. Here we've got Firefly. Comes with all sorts of different accessories. These things really bring me back to my days of collecting G.I. Joes. I used to absolutely love G.I. Joe until I shot them all with BB guns and blew them up with firecrackers when I went through that phase in a young boy's life. And I regret it. But I do still have a bunch of my old G.I. Joes. They're just kind of stored away because they're not easy to display with all this stuff. Now we get into some of the Transformers. These are a whole bunch of the G1 re-releases from Japan of the Transformers. I do have an entire G1 collection of Transformers, almost complete, season 1, 2, and 3, but they're all stored away. Can only display so much, but I do have some of the boxes of the ones that are more impressive, like Fort Max here, the Japanese version of Fort Max. Have some of these. Let me just open this up. Have some of these flame toys versions of some of the characters that are a little bit more obscure, like Drift and Star Saber. They came mostly, this Drift kind of got popularity in the comic books, and Star Saber kind of took on the leadership role in the Japanese cartoon once the North American one ended. Again, Bludgeon, not really a big character until the comics kind of made him into one. He was just a pretender, I think. And Nemesis Prime, some of the sweeps, and then we have some boxes of some sort of OG Transformers. You know, there's the original Star Saber, Japanese. Here's Orion Pax, Optimus before he was Optimus. I think this is just a wheelie repaint that they released. Here's the Pepsi Prime, and then again some original Prime, Ultra Magnus. I believe these are re-releases. And we've got Mirage and Sunstreaker. Sunstreaker is one of those toys that I never actually had as a kid. I really tried to find them and I couldn't get them, so it's nice to finally have them now. Now let's look at the rest of the Masterpiece collection. I have done a video of these guys. You can look back and see. I think there's a few videos that outlined my whole Masterpiece collection. I do have some new ones in, so if you guys are interested in me doing an updated video on my Masterpiece Transformers collection, let me know. I'm going for an entire season 1 to 4, which was the entire North American Masterpiece, entire North American G1 show. I'm going for a complete collection of them all in Masterpiece scale, or at least what I can get. So again, let me know if you want me to go into detail, and I'll do another video with an update on them. I do have the HasLab Unicron, but he's in a box. I've never even taken him out because he just won't fit here, so I don't know what to do with him yet, but I'll figure it out. I'll just mention really quick that I do have some of the Super 7 Thundercats, Lion-O and the rest of them. So far I have all of those that have been released, either in or on pre-order. Just have nowhere else to put them, so they're kind of sitting down here for now, but I will find a better place. Here's these mini Transformers. I did a review on them. They're freaking awesome. They're just so small. I was going to put them on these guys, on the Titans, just to show scale, because these Titans should be massive compared to everything else in my collection here. So in order to show scale, I wanted to have some of these really, really mini Transformers sitting on them, kind of like how this Optimus Prime is, but like way, way smaller. But I'm just so scared of losing them, so they're just kind of sitting here in the tins right now. Let me know if you guys have any ideas of how I can stick them onto these guys without losing them, because that's my biggest fear, and still be able to take them off eventually. Anyways, now we're moving into He-Man, Masters of the Universe. And these are the Mondo boxes. I do have the Mondo figures out of box, the 1/6 scale figures, and I'll show you them in a second. Here's just a few more plushies of the Seekers. Okay, so now here we get into the Masters of the Universe, the new Origins line. So this is sort of a hard to find limited edition Keldor and Cronus, which is Skeletor and Trapjaw before they were their current iterations of them in their early days. We've got a realistic fur Panther, which is also hard to find, just like the original Panther. It's got that sort of I don't remember what the term of it is. Flocked? Yeah, it's flocked. This was hard to get. Maybe he's easier to get now. I don't think so though. Some of these limited edition things are really tough to find. And then I have a whole bunch of these things in boxes. Got Castle Grayskull. You know, a bunch of the vehicles. Some little minis. These are from the Classics line. I have a few of the Classics line, but not a ton. And again, if you want me to go through all of the Masters of the Universe Origins figures I have, let me know and I will do that. As you can see, I've got a ton. These are 2 levels deep. I think I have all of them so far that have been released as well, except for a couple PowerCon, which is the Masters of the Universe version of kind of Comic-Con. There's been a few releases that I just couldn't get my hands on them. I waited online, tried to order them the minute that it opened, pre-orders opened, and they were all sold out. It was a shit show. But I did get this one. I did get the Evil Horde, it's called, which was a PowerCon exclusive. I love these. Let me just pull one out so you can see them. Which one would be fun? How about Stinkor? They're like the original toys, you know, that kind of hunched over, hyper realistic look. Is that a way of describing it? Like, they don't look like real humans, but they look very much like those early He-Man, but they just have more points of articulation. I love them. They really hit that nostalgia spot for me. They even kind of have the original, artwork. Very, very cool. And like I said, I got a ton of them. So let me know if you want me to go through them, and I will do that. And then here we have the Mondo ones, 6 scale ones, and these are really nice. Got Faker, Merman, Skeletor, He-Man. He-Man's portrait is probably the weakest of the bunch, but he's still he's the first one, still a nice figure. And then Man-at-Arms, Orko there was a little add-on for Man-at-Arms. I think he was a exclusive. And I do have Scareglow that I haven't taken out of bag yet. He just arrived. I had to order them online through eBay. So now we get to my Spawn section, and I've always been a huge Spawn fan since the early days of Spawn. When Todd McFarlane started Spawn, I just loved him. I loved Todd McFarlane's take on Spider-Man. So when he released Spawn as kind of like a new character, I was all over it. I absolutely love it. I didn't show, but I do have a bunch of comic books upstairs as well. If you ever want me to go through the comic books I have, a lot of them are like literally from when I was a kid. Old school G.I. Joe, old school Transformers, old school Marvel. Let me know, and I will go through that. But these are some old McFarlane Spawn figures. And I still think they really hold up. They're really nice. Medieval Spawn. Hell Spawn. I really do like these. I think that they're very nice. This is a new Violator. This came out recently. The new Todd McFarlane's figures are a little bit bigger in scale, so I didn't get most of them because they won't fit, but I think Violator should be big, so it works. Gunslinger Spawn. Very cool. Just really highly stylized. Not very posable. They kind of just sit in one position, and that is how they are, but I think that's cool. It's almost, they're more statue-like than they are figure. Spawn pondering death. Redeemer. I love that. As you know, I like the big wings. I would imagine some of these are probably worth a pretty penny now. They're collectors figures, I'm sure. These are just some random anime figures that I picked up when I was young. I don't know if they're from Bastard. I guess it's manga. It's a manga. I don't think it's an anime. I think it's from a manga called Bastard. But I just thought the characters look super cool. Kind of the angels and demons. I got some sexy anime girls. I was even into this back then. I guess no big surprise. And then a few more Spawn. Here he is when he was still just an army man or a soldier. And then, because I had nowhere else to put them, my Metal Gear figures don't really fit with the theme, but that's okay. They're still cool. I've had these for a long time as well. I guess since Metal Gear 2 came out. And then I've got my Akira collection. Not the best likenesses, that doesn't really look like Kaneda, but that's okay. As a whole, it looks cool. And to end things off here, we have my video games shelf. I have room up here for something. I have some Final Fantasy plushies right now. A couple of these I actually got in Tokyo. This chocobo I got during the 30th anniversary. 30th anniversary of Final Fantasy. It's really cool. Sue and I were in Tokyo, and I didn't even know it. I didn't plan this at all, but it was the 30th anniversary of Final Fantasy when we were there, and there was a massive show and display going on very close to where we were staying. So we went and checked that out twice. It was cool. They had food based on Final Fantasy things. You could get drinks that were like elixirs and potions and all that. really fun. And then there was all sorts of artwork and statues and games from the Final Fantasy series. That was something to remember. Anyways, I got him there. I think I got all these plushies there at that time, but he was the one that was like sort of, he's special because he has the 30th anniversary thing. So now we have Cloud on, geez, I should know this. Is this Hardy Daytona or Fenrir? I think this is Hardy Daytona. Yeah, this is Play Arts Kai, and it came with the Final Fantasy Remake game with the sort of special version you could get. He's nice. I mean, I have a 1/4 scale statue, which I think is probably more impressive, but hey, this still looks pretty good, I think. Some of the Play Arts Kai stuff is kind of trash. I've seen like the Tifa that was released recently. Not a big fan, but I do like this a lot. Got a couple Final Fantasy IX characters, Zidane, and of course Vivi. I've had those since the game originally came out. A lot of these are kind of very old school figures, like him as well. I love this version of Bahamut from Final Fantasy X. Really, really beautiful. I mean, now there's so many different statues of everything that these aren't as impressive, but at the time, I mean, when I saw this, I was just like, my goodness, what a beautiful, beautiful piece. Iron Giant. So now we've got some Advent Children figures. I believe these are Play Arts Kai as well. I should find a few more of these. I liked Yuffie in Advent Children, and Aerith or Eris was in it as well, as sort of like a ghost. So I should see if I can pick those up somewhere. They're probably really expensive now. And here's his bike from Advent Children, Fenrir. These are different scales. I just realized. Yeah, this is bigger. My favorite Guardian Force or Summon from Final Fantasy, Odin. Man, he was so badass. And I think this is the version from Final Fantasy VIII, where he comes down on his horse and absolutely just wrecks shit. One hit kills anybody you're fighting. Here's another version of Bahamut. I think this one was from Final Fantasy VIII as well. Now we move into more of the Final Fantasy VIII characters. I mean, not fantastic likenesses, but at the time I was just really happy to have, physical versions of these characters that I'd spent countless tens of hours playing with. Like I said, Solar Studio, the one that made my my Squall and Vivi, are going to be doing some more of these characters. I'm really excited. There's a Renoa coming. There's an Idea coming. And I just can't be more excited. Here are some monsters from Final Fantasy VII. That's actually a summon. This is the villain from Final Fantasy. Did I say 7? Sorry, I meant 10. This is the villain from Final Fantasy X. His name is eluding me right now. Different version of Iron Giant. Another summon from Final Fantasy X. I can't remember their names, which is driving me nuts because I should know these. But very cool. Again, these are some old figures. And then we have some Golden Axe figures. And this is a cool line. I really appreciate these because I used to love Golden Axe, and I'm happy that a company is actually making these. They're really nicely articulated. And there's a bunch more coming. So you got the Skeletons, you got Death Adder Jr., who I think he was from like the Sega Genesis version of the game or something. But I got him just because he was up for sale on Big Bad Toy Store. And I needed to fill this out a little bit more. So Tyrus, Flame, and Gilius, the Amazon fighter woman, and the little dwarf I have pre-ordered, and they come with some of the other beasts that they rolled as well. So, they rode some of the mounts. I'll make a better display for these guys once I have them all in. I do have some other little, you know, peons as well coming, but I think that'll be a nice display once they're all done. Axe Battler was the first one they released, and I do have some other figures from this company called Storm Collectibles. These are all Storm Collectibles. I have a bunch of the Street Fighter figures. As you can see, I have Sagat, Honda, Guile, Akuma, and then I have Jin, Axel from Streets of Rage, and Dimitri from the Darksiders. That I'll eventually end up displaying. I just don't really know where to put them right now. Some fun Street Fighter versions of Muscle. Fun little fact, but Muscle, I used to collect these little things. I don't know if any of you remember these, but there's hundreds of them, all sorts of different styles. I used to have so many of them, and I used to love them. They're actually based on a Japanese anime called Kinnikuman. When I went to Japan, I just bought some out of a vending machine just for fun, and one of my Japanese friends is like, "Oh, Kinnikuman, you know it?" And I'm like, "I don't know it as Kinnikuman, but yeah, I definitely used to collect these things as a kid. In the West, they're marketed as Muscle." So here now is the final centerpiece of this room, and this, of course, is the complete X-Men diorama by Iron Studios. It's hard to just grasp it, because in person the eye can really, you know, handle depth better than a camera can. So all the color in the background is maybe washing it out, but this is so impressive in person. So let's just very quickly go through it. I think I have every piece for it so far that's been released, except for Mystique. I'm missing Mystique, and I will eventually pick her up. But I'm kind of running out of real estate to put these little auxiliary pieces. But anyways, let's go through it. So I'll start with the first one. This was the first diorama piece, the first Sentinel, and we got Wolvie here, busting through the chest. Rogue, Beast, and was there anybody else that came with it? Oh yeah, and then Cyclops. You know what? I just realized that I should probably do a separate video for this, because it's just there's too many characters. Let me just do a quick once over everything, so you can get a feel for it, and then if you want, I'll do a better review of the entire diorama. Just mention it in the comics or in the comments if that's what you want to see, and I'll go through it in more detail. But for now, let's just have a quick look. All right, guys, there you have it. And that is it for this room. Again, lots more to dig into. If you guys want to see it, let me know, and I will do a full in-depth video on Transformers, G.I. Joes, Ninja Turtles, Spawn even, whatever you guys want. Just let me know. Okay guys, so thank you so much for coming along on my collection tour. Really appreciate it. It means a lot to me to be able to share my collection with other people, so I appreciate you watching. Please like and subscribe if you enjoy the content. There'll be lots more coming. And until next time guys, later.